Hello, my people. I know I missed last week. I do apologize, but I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Technique Tuesday. Last week we were out of town. We had some things to take care of, but we're back in town now and we'll be home for a bit. So let's get started. So I have to tell you guys, last week I went to a meeting with my team and we made a double eclipse card. And I don't know if I've been sleeping under a rock, but I've never heard of it. And it was magical. So I made the card at the meeting, and then I came home and I'm like, oh, I gotta do that for Technique Tuesday. So if you've already seen this technique, just maybe play this to the end while you go get some coffee. But if you haven't, sit down with me and let's make this magical card together. Of course, this one I did with a bus, and this is what my bus looks like. And I use the Scenic Coast paper, which is just stunning. So basically, if you didn't have the bus there, you could just have the paper there itself. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna make this card, and then at the end, I'm gonna show you some other things that I made using this technique, but using some paper and then some other paper that I made and all those kind of exciting whatnots. So, okay, let's get started. Sorry, I'm so excited as usual. Okay, so you're gonna need your paper trimmer. It doesn't matter what paper trimmer you have, use what you got. If you got a Fiskars, use that. If you got a cutter peed, use that, okay? So I got all my pieces here, so I'm gonna get the paper trimmer out of the way. Okay, so what you're gonna need first is your base, 5.5 by 4 1/4 base for the card. So you're gonna have it 5.5 by 8.5. And I already decorated the inside of it, and I used a strip of that paper because why? What? We do not throw anything away. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, you're gonna need a piece of paper that's about 4 inches by 5 and a stitch. So you want it to be, you want it to be the same color. So I made one without it being the same color, but you could kind of see it peeking through. So you want to have it the same color because we're going to glue those little strips down on a piece of paper. And then you're going to have your paper. So on this piece of paper, I already glued down the grass. So the grass is from the, let me see here. I have it here. Oh, heck. Oh, the grass is from the Paradise Palm dies. Okay. So I glued that on there, and I used the double-sided sticky stuff that we sell. I don't remember the name of it. I know it's really bad. So, but anyway, I would make sure that you glue whatever you're going to stick down here, glue it down and glue it good because you're going to be cutting. So due to math, this is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, because we're gonna do this in 1/2 inch increments, and you want to make sure that you can split whatever this is in little halves. So if you're better at math than me and you can do it like in thirds, and thirds, great. That's way above my pay grade. So I just did the halves that we did at the meeting. So what you want to do is make sure you keep your pieces in order. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this. And wow, holy smokes, I changed my blade. I just changed the blade like 5 seconds ago. So it's super sharp. So make sure you don't cut yourself, kids. And what you can do too to kind of preserve your blade, guys, is you can cut from both directions, okay? And that'll help to save your blade. So we're just gonna push these over here to the side, make sure we keep them in order. But I couldn't believe this technique. I was blown away. Like I said, I think I've been sleeping under a rock. Maybe it's because I've been so busy with everything else, but it was just so cool. And I thought, well, how did I miss the boat on that one? So I have some sticky notes here. I'm gonna show you what you're gonna do with your sticky notes. Because for me, sometimes my fingers are too chunky to hold the paper. So what I do is I take a sticky note, just like this. I'm just gonna put the sticky note here, and it's gonna hold your paper so it doesn't move. That way, you get it exact, and everybody's happy, okay? So So let's just put this right here. And then I'm just gonna pick it up and I'm gonna do it again. That way you're wasting a sticky note, not your paper, if you cut it crooked. Okay. All right, so we've got all of our strips, all right? Ta-da! Let me just grab these and get it out of the way. Okay, so now we've got all of our strips. So we're gonna bring in that piece of paper. You're gonna need some Stampin' Dimensionals or pop dots or whatever you wanna call them. You're gonna need these. You're gonna need quite a bit. So maybe this is a card that you make for someone special, or if you really don't care about using up your dimensionals, it's really up to you. But your first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put one down just like this, and we're just gonna line it up. And hopefully you won't see my hair because, you know, like I keep telling you guys, I can't see sometimes. So then we're gonna line this up. And you see how it hangs off the end here? Totally fine, okay? Totally fine, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take my glue and I'm gonna go ahead and glue, I'm gonna line it. I'm gonna put a strip of glue just on the paper, just like that. Okay, now I'm gonna pick up this next one and I'm actually gonna use my tweezers because that will help me to really line it up next to this one here. So you just wanna line it up. And what's nice, because this is a scene, you can keep the scene going and that'll help you to line up your paper. And then we're just gonna flip this guy over here and we're gonna apply our dimensionals. I think I used between 4 and 5. You can use the littles too if that's what you have on hand. Really not a big deal. So, this is time consuming, so bear with me. I don't know if I have any good Sherry stories today. I haven't been doing much. Been doing yard work. You know, it's been nice outside. So we've been working in the yard and dealing with our kitty cats. So, okay, now you're just gonna keep this going. Maybe I should have my husband go in and edit it. So anyway, you're just gonna lay this down, just like that. Now what I've noticed too is if you do get it a little bit crooked at the top or the bottom, you can always cut it off. Always, not a big deal. So we're gonna put this down here as our placeholder. Here's the important thing. We need to have a placeholder so that you know where to put your next one with the dimensionals. And then we're just gonna slide this in here, right next to it, just like so. And stick it down. And glue, I'm telling you right now, I did not bring any other adhesive into this room. Glue is your best bet, because it gives you some wiggle room to move things around. So I would highly recommend glue, but if you're better at using your adhesive, please use what you have on hand. You can probably even use a stitch of Elmer's and you can just put it on the strip if you like. But I prefer, I've made this card quite a few times so I could get the gist of it, so I could try to teach it to you guys. So that's my advice. And then for me, I need to turn the paper so that I can see it this way. I don't know how other people line things up. We're just gonna line this next one. And I noticed doing it vertically, I had to ask my husband. I'm so bad with those words because I'm not an artist, but doing it vertically is faster than doing it horizontally. I did make a horizontal card, so I'll show you guys that one. But this is just really, it's a little time consuming, but it's beautiful. And look, we're almost to the end. We only got a few strips left. So there we go. I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day. Thank you for all of our soldiers. My dad and my brother and my uncle were all military. My brother, I think, is still serving. All right, here we go. Okay, so I've got about 4 on each one. I think I did 5 on the first. You can also if you want, you can embed your images onto the paper and go ahead and cut it like this too. So you would glue, like, say, the bus down and glue the palm tree down. Okay, oh, almost forgot the placeholder. Look at me, almost forgetting. Okay, so I'm gonna put my placeholder there, and then I'm just gonna glue this last one. This is it, we're almost to the end. Double vision card, that's so funny. It makes me think of that song. See my eyes with the double vision. See, but you didn't think you were gonna get sung to today. Okay, so you can see here I have a little bit of strip of blue on the side. I don't know if you can see that. Let me hold it up, but it's not gonna matter because we're gonna stick it down and it's gonna be right as rain. Okay, so here we go. Can you guys believe it's almost the end of May? Holy cow, where's this year going? It's like zoom, and it's gone. All right, here we go. Here's the last one. Oops, my grass is starting to come up there. I might put a little stitch of glue there in a second, or I can do that later. Okay, there we go. Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay, so now we're just gonna glue this down. See, once I glue that down, you really can't see that strip there. But if you want to, you can go ahead and cut it off. Let's do that. You just cut it off. You just put it right in here. There we go. All done. All gone. Oops, maybe not. There we go. I don't have any scissors in here. Okay. I didn't bring scissors. Okay, so there we go. Let's glue that down. And you can see that it's hanging over at the bottom, which is totally fine. You just want to make sure that you can line it up at the top so that you get it exact. And glue, glue, glue. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Just gonna glue this down, just like so. Okay, here's some tricks of the trade to get your embellishments and whatnot where you want them. So I'm gonna glue the tree about right here. And when I cut my paper, I also made sure that my sun was a little bit over to the side. That way I could have all of my embellishments right here on the one side. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a tiny dot here, and I'm gonna place it on the back. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of glue. And you don't need a whole lot, but we're gonna put that dot right there in the center, about like that. All right, and for the bus, I cut the windows out because I'm kind of OCD like that, but I cut the windows out so that you could see through and see the beachy scene. So that was kind of fun. So put some glue here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put pop dot right here. Then I'm gonna line this up so that the tires are on here. Actually, there we go. All right, great. And then our greeting. So I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna put the pop dots right here, or the dimensionals, I'm sorry. It's like old school. You can tell I used to be a scrapbooker back in the day before I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'll put just a little bit of glue, just a dot, happy little dots here. And then we'll just flip it over. So we're almost done here. Let me show you the other ones that I made. And hopefully you guys will give this a try. It's really easy. It was quick. I don't know how long I've been talking, but probably longer than usual. So there you go. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Okay, so let me show you some of the other ones that I made, okay? So I made this one here. This, like I said, was the horizontal one. This took a long time. And you can see back here that I used white paper. Don't do that. Try to use the same color paper that you're using. Because you can see the white. It doesn't really bother me, but somebody else it might. But and this greeting is from the Make-A-Wish stamp set. And then on the inside, it says, wishing you a magical day. So I really like that one. I thought that was cute. And you know me with my bus. So this one, okay, did you recognize this? This was from our Technique Tuesday way at the beginning with the embossing folders. This was interesting because you can see right here that it kind of fell apart, but it was a happy accident. So this was the first one that I made, and I really like how it turned out. I thought it was really pretty, and it gives just a little bit more pop with that technique. And there's so much going on with this that all you really need is a greeting. And it says, the thing that I like about you is everything. And then that was Sweet Words and Labels dies. Those are the new dies that come with the Winnie the Pooh suite. And this next one, you guys recognize that? Yes, that is the Waterside Retreat suite. That's on page 20 in the catalog. That's where you can find that. Okay. And this was just a little scene here, and I made a little bookmark card, and then I just stamped the chair. And this last one, this is the one that's on the picture. So this was the same thing. This was another technique that we did, the, what was that? The Foxy Oxy with the OxyClean. I had another piece of that blue paper. I stamped all of my images here. Then I ran it through the embossing folder. So I did a little bit of both, and I cut out the octopus. I will probably never do that again. That was hard, trying to get all the little tiny spots, but it was well worth it. I have a friend who's not feeling well, so I'm gonna send her this card because I thought she would really love it. So it says, you occupy my thoughts. And then last but not least, this is the one we made at our meeting, and it was just so cool. Such a cool technique. And that's the Moonlit Flora suite, and that's on page 34. So anyway, I hope you guys will give this a try. Tell me which one of these is your favorite, and I will see you guys next week for another episode of Technique Tuesday. I love y'all. Appreciate it. Just give me a like, thank you, follow, and all that good YouTube-y stuff. And I'll see you next week, and hopefully I'll be a little bit tanner. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.